Article 11 of the Articles of Confederation, at 1231.12, it says this: Canada, acceding to this confederation and joining in the measures of the United States, shall be admitted into and entitled to all the privileges and advantages of this union, but no other colony shall be admitted into the same unless such admission be agreed to by at least 9 states. See, there's a couple hundred years of school textbooks that did not tell you Canada was part of the United States since this was written, approved, adopted as one of our nation's founding documents. I'm trying to be careful how I say things. So I just find that quite interesting. We're going to get fun here in a minute. The United States isn't a country, it's a corporation. This is codified in Title 28 of the United States Code in Section 3002(5), Chapter 176. It's a corporation. You can look it up on Dun & Bradstreet. However, over the years, the United States has changed many, many, many times. See, the name of my country is the United States of America. It's spelled with a small u. It's the United being a verb, States of America. That's how the first Constitution was written. Then it got incorporated, and it was the United States of America, with a capital T, the word the, United, capitalized, States of America, upper and lower case. And then when President Lincoln, old Honest Abe, took office, he bankrupted the original United States of America and its Virginia and East India trading companies. And he reincorporated it as a Delaware corporation. Then, in 1871, the District of Columbia Corporation was put into effect. And the District of Columbia Corporation, the United States of America, was put underneath it as a subsidiary corporation. I'm seeing how in my mind the best way to explain something. If you had a business, you incorporate with who? The state. Well, if the state's a corporation, who do they incorporate with? The federal government. The United States, right? Corporation. And if they incorporate with the District of Columbia Corporation, and the District of Columbia Corporation, where do we go from here? Who do they incorporate with? Oh, no, the City of London first. And then who does the City of London incorporate with? The Crown Inc. And who do they incorporate with? The Vatican. Now I got news for you. Vatican's gone, Crown's gone, City of London declared bankruptcy. Now the District of Columbia is the top corporation in the world. And the last Pope, Pope Benedict, dissolved all corporations of America. I mean, of the world. All corporations of the world. What did all the corporations of the world do? They reincorporated. And it went to the USA Inc. USA Inc. That was the name of your country for a little while. And they had a period in between the letters. Then they went to the USA Inc. without the periods in between. That's a different name. See? They just changed the name of it a little bit. Then what did they do? United States, all caps, no the, no of America. Yeah, that became a corporation. And that one, President Trump bankrupted in November of 2019. And then what happened? What happened under Biden? The name of the country changed again to the White House Office, Inc., with its 60,000 plus subsidiary corporations. All the state ofs, all the county ofs, all the city ofs, are all subsidiary corps underneath. And each county, 3,144 counties, have approximately 240 corporations underneath them, right? So they're part of that 60,000 corporations. And the name of the U.S. citizens' new country became the White House Office, Inc., listed on Dun & Bradstreet with Joe R. Biden as the agent of service on Dun & Bradstreet. So, you know what's fun for me? Walking into a grocery store or a gas station and going up the clerk and go, "You a U.S. citizen?" And they say, "Yes." "What's the name of the country you live in?" They look at me like I'm a freaking fool. Right? Like I'm crazy. And they go, "The United States." I said, "No, what if I was to tell you it was the White House Office, Inc., with Joe R. Biden listed as the agent of service. And the only job position he accepted in his inauguration was to be the CEO of that corporation." See, the day after he was inaugurated, the bankruptcy ended. And then they were free to have the White House Office, Inc., with him as the CEO and the agent of service. So if you sue them, you got to sue the White House Office, Inc. That ought to be fun in the federal court. Explaining that one to judges who don't even know. You'll have to take the proof in with you. That's okay. We can prove everything. We have all the proof. This book's full of proof. The book's getting thick. And my person that's helping me assemble more books for other trainers is saying, "When are you going to quit adding to it?" Right? Are we ever going to get it done? Keep adding to it. See, she's not looking at me. So anyway, that's what happened. And people don't understand that. The Supreme Court, look at the Clearfield doctrine, you guys. Look at Clearfield case. Read it. Look at cases like Donovan versus Ray. Or look up Ray Donovan. He was the Department of Labor. Look up those cases. Rules, codes, statutes, and ordinances are not law, according to the Supreme Court of the United States. Neither are executive orders. Neither are acts of Congress. Tells you right in there. In fact, we were so lied to. You remember that little cartoon, some of you that are old enough? A bill on Capitol Hill. And it tells us how laws are made. I got news for you. They left part off of that. See, I learned a while back something very, very important. A bill is not written by Congress. It is written by guys on K Street, lobbyists who are attorneys. All these lobbyists on K Streets take lots of money from big corporations, and they write the bills that are presented to our Congress. And Congress eventually works things out and votes on it. And let's just say it passes Congress. It goes to the Senate to be ratified. Cartoon tells you that. And then it goes to the president to be signed into law. And then that bill sitting on the steps becomes a law. Remember the cartoon? Oh, no. No. See, when the president signs it, it doesn't become law for 90 days. As soon as the president signs it, it goes to the District of Columbia for approval. And if the District of Columbia doesn't like it, they've got 90 days to review it and send it back to Congress for changes, reviews, after the president signs it into law. So if that's the case, and it is, who is the higher authority? The District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., 10 square miles that we the people gave them, and ports and other needful things. We didn't give them 3.1 million acres of Oregon to be Bureau of Land Management land. We didn't give them several million acres of Oregon to be U.S. Forest Service land. That's our land, the people's land. We only hired them to manage it for us. And they do a shitty job. And they're not to keep us from it. And yet in Oregon, they put gates across. These beautiful yellow steel gates with a lock up inside something so there's no way you can get out with bolt cutters. That's why God designed sawzalls. See, that's our land. They're not there to keep it from us. And if you live in the West, you're always fighting BLM or the Forest Service. That's what we do all the time. In this part of the country, you don't have that issue as much. You go back east, they don't even know what the BLM is. But in Oregon, California, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, I mean, we could name states all day long. If you're west of the Mississippi, you know what the BLM is, for the most part. Especially if you're west of Interstate 25. Because we're always fighting. Farmers are fighting, loggers are fighting, on and on and on. Agriculture is fighting. They block off roads. Nature wants to reclaim itself, so trees start growing up through the roads. A healthy forest has 80 to 100 trees per acre. And then these snot-nosed kids graduate from Oregon State University in forestry. They go to work for the Forest Service, and all of a sudden the forests have 600 trees per acre, and the underbrush is growing up underneath. A big forest fire when I was in high school, because I was on wildland firefighting crews in high school. They won't even allow high school kids to go on wildland firefighting crews anymore. Back then, the logging companies maintained all the logging roads up in there to keep them clear. They cut the forest down in checkerboard patterns. That's to stop wildfire, so it can't grow big. A big forest fire was 3,000 acres. Now they're 300,000 acres. It's nothing but fuel. And now they burn so hot, they sterilize the earth. And they kill the wildlife. Because these snot-nosed kids don't know how to manage the forest. They just graduated.